And we are back. BB True Crime.
I'm Beth.
I am Becky. And we are here to talk about...
Actually, cults today.
It's cults. Is there murder involved?
Of course there's murder involved.
Excellent.
Actually,
I think you used the word massacre earlier, so I don't know why I'm asking if murder was involved.
Yeah, so today we are on episode 8, and we are covering the Jonestown Massacre. And actually, Becky, to be precise...
Oh, God.
It is the largest mass murder by any cult in the entire history of the world.
We love the Americans.
And the thing is, it wasn't even actually that long ago, if you think about it. So that's quite scary. Yeah.
It's America, honey.
I just want to say a quick note. First of all, before we actually really get in, if you don't know what we do already, we explore true crime.
Mm-hmm. She's the nerd, and I'm clueless.
I'm just the horror obsessed one. She does criminology,
and yet knows nothing. It's fine.
She does at the end.
We're learning. That's what's important. We're learning.
Yeah, I'm just having a good time.
I've learned lots of the depravity of the human nature.
Yes.
Lots of torture, lots of sadism. I will never look at a kitten the same way again, or Hello Kitties.
Or Hello Kitty.
or cardboard boxes trigger me now.
Yeah.
Or even just an old...
Boy in a box.
Oh, God. Or even just like an old-fashioned house, just knowing that I might find body parts.
That's kind of
hidden.
cool, though.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I mean, you just said, yeah.
I looked at you like you're a psychopath. Who am I? You never know who you're living with these days. You never know.
She knows, and she actively made this choice. It's fine.
It only proves my mental depravity. I'm having a cake.
Okay.
I'm stealing a cake.
So, I want to make...
Oh, God, this is tasty.
I know. And they're like 80p Morrisons. Yeah, so, there's also chocolate ones.
Oh, long live Morrisons.
I didn't buy those, so you might have to get those. Anyway, Morrisons talk aside. That was really, really flat.
You need snacks to talk about murder.
That's true. We do always need tea and snacks to talk about absolute madness.
Katsu curry, takeaway, pizza, chips, popcorn today.
That's true.
And cake.
I want to say a quick thing about cults before we dive into the cult with what I can only describe to be a sort of genocide.
Okay, well, my understanding of cults is very lacking, so...
Yeah, so don't worry.
I know nothing.
So, a cult. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically going to give you, like, a definition of, like, what makes a group of people a cult.
Please do.
Before we delve into it. So basically, a group is a cult. A group is a cult. God help us all.
Her English is still not good.
See you till the last episode. A cult is a social group that it doesn't matter how many members they have, but usually it's about 3 or more. And it's usually defined by religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs.
Some kind of belief system to support it, I know that.
Yeah. Or it's common interest, or it's a particular personality.
Hasn't, like, Scientology been accused of being a cult?
Oh, Scientology is definitely a cult.
I was going to say, but then they're always like, no, we're not a cult, we're a religion. And I'm like, that's what a cult would say.
Yeah, that's exactly what a cult would say. Exactly.
I was just flashbacking to Tom Cruise and Scientology, and I'm like,
I'm sorry, no cult is going to, like, be like, yes, we're a cult.
We're a cult.
Because then it's like, bit sus. Yeah, so, and it also, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be completely around religion, but you'll find most cults are, usually.
It's easier to control people that way.
Yeah, it can be about it can revolve around a person, an object, or a goal that they have in mind. So, there's 4 things.
Okay. She says that she puts 3 fingers up. Not only is her English not so good, but neither are her numbers.
We already knew that, okay. That was not a surprise for
She'd be gay, we can't hold it against her.
No, gays can't do maths.
Gays can't do maths, no.
So, there's 4 main things that make a cult a cult.
Okay.
So,
Number 1.
A charismatic leader. And it has to be the most important one.
the
Over religion.
slimiest little
Yeah.
sleaze bag with
Yeah.
slicked hair that you could possibly
Yeah.
imagine. Probably an older male.
Usually always a man. Middle-aged. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Older. Normally has that kind of daddy vibe.
So if you think about it, Hitler used to be described as charismatic. And look how that turned out, lads.
Let's not call Hitler charismatic.
You can find plenty of sources that say that.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Did you know that Hitler's nephew defected from Germany and fought for the Allies?
No, I did not.
And then he was killed in the mid-40s in a prisoner of war camp. I think, anyway. I can't remember how he died. I think he was in a prisoner of war camp. But yeah, he fought for the Allies, and that his whole history has just been erased. Despite the fact that he defected from his home country and his family and fought against his own uncle. I was like, what the?
Good bean.
He's a good bean. Good bean. And I didn't know his name. I didn't even know he existed until like a couple of months ago. I was like, how have I been learning about World War II my entire childhood and adulthood? Not know that.
Well, of course. Bias, isn't it? So
Anyway,
yeah.
back to the original point.
Yeah. Charismatic leader.
Charismatic leader.
In this case, not Hitler. Just like
That's
clarify.
reassuring, considering these happened, I'm guessing, not too long ago.
No, I mean, it might feel like long ago.
Beth, I'm hinting to the fact that this did not happen in the 1940s.
Oh, no, it didn't. No, it
No.
didn't. No, it didn't.
Hitler was not
no.
involved. Hitler was dead.
So the second thing.
Okay.
So we got the charismatic leader, which is the
Slime ball.
most important one.
Slime
And
ball.
you'll find that in every single cult.
Can we just call him the slime ball?
If you want to.
Excellent. Slime ball.
The second one is that they have to have some kind of belief system. Doesn't matter if it's religion related or not.
Yeah.
And usually the system always links or has connections to that the people in the cult will be going to a better place at some point. Yeah.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah. Number 3
Yep.
is that they have a massive system of control.
I was going to say, the
That links to
religious
the first one.
system and the charismatic leader were used as
So control
and
massive.
oppression.
Yeah.
That's why it's a cult. It's
and then number 4 is they will have people of influence in the cult. For example, say there's a group of 20 people and you got 5 more elderly people or older people and 15 younger ones. The elderly people are going to be like really into this cult, and the younger people seeing this are going to be like, oh, you know, I look up to these people, the wise older people.
It's
I
like
respect them.
It's like the military.
Yeah. So
you have units of younger people
Yeah.
led by older, influential officers.
So that's what I mean.
Okay.
Or, for example, Scientology, celebrities.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Right. So, those are the 4 things.
Scientology.
Yeah.
Apologies if anybody listening is in fact a Scientologist.
Oh, I'm not sorry.
You do you, honey. You do you.
No. No.
You probably want to skip this episode though.
Cult. I'm just letting them out.
I'm happy for you. Probably
So-
might want to skip the next one though.
Also, the last thing I'll mention on cults before we actually start onto Jim Jones and Jonestown is that pretty much in every single cult you'll ever see, the members, and I won't even say forced, they willingly give up every single possession that they own.
They do, yeah. They like shed everything.
Sometimes that you'll see that they even sell their stuff,
And then
they
provide
give
the
the
funds
money
to the...
to the cult.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or, well, and they have to cut off ties to everyone in their life.
Oh yeah, they're gone. Dropped
Yeah.
off the radar.
And so they're isolated, easier to control.
Yeah.
Cult.
Cult.
So, right, we've got what, a cult is.
Okay, we have decided and defined what a cult is.
Yeah. So now you have a bit
Tell
more
me
understanding.
about the sleazeball that named a town after himself.
He did.
The height of male ego right
Oh, yeah.
here.
Yeah.
His name is Jim Jones?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, and he founded Jonestown.
And the funny thing is, his full name is Pastor Jim Jones. Let that sink in.
Can I just say that a lot of leaders of cults seem to bestow themselves upon the name pastor.
Yeah.
Like we don't know that for like the equivalent of £18 in America, you can go online and deign yourself to be a pastor.
God, the temptation to do that is strong. Just because it would be funny.
No, because you have to read stuff about God.
Well, yeah, but then you can like debunk it. Sorry to any Christian listeners.
It's fine. My uncle's a heavy atheist.
Oh, Lord. Okay, yeah. So, I just want to point out, Jim Jones' cult. Yes, it was slightly religious, you know, in a sort of Christian belief way, but actually it was more of a political group.
Oh, yay.
So that's the kind of cult we're dealing with.
Do you know what? I joined an anti-Trump cult.
Oh, yeah, so would I.
I'd join that.
Yeah.
I'd sell every earthly possession I have to debunk.
Would I? I don't know if I could pat from a PlayStation, man.
Oh, you materialistic
Oh,
SOB.
my dog. Like, I won't be able to, like, cut off ties with my dog.
Mr. Wiggy!
Right, I'm sorry.
Oh, God, no, I
Yeah,
couldn't do
no.
it. I haven't even pet the booty yet.
Exactly. You
But
need to get on
I would
it.
never get to see Mr. Wiggy again.
You wouldn't. Or at all.
Just
Or
for
even
those of you who
pictures.
don't know who Mr. Wiggy is the small boy, Mr. Doggo, that is Beth's, but lives with Beth's mum. So,
You know, who is his real mother.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's crack on.
we are 10 minutes in and we have yet to comment.
Hey, we did have to explain what cults
We
were.
did have to
Not
get
just
there.
for you, but for anyone else who listens.
And we get slightly sidetracked on the way there because I have
We do.
ADHD, so it's fine.
It's okay. It's just self-aware. So, his group was actually not called Jonestown. The location in which they lived, the settlement that they eventually lived, was called Jonestown.
Jonestown, right, yeah.
So the actual cult itself was called the People's Temple.
Oh, God.
So,
They sound like some bigoted SOBs that I'd find in a Tomb Raider game.
yeah, probably.
Ugh.
But it is better known. The cult is better known by the name Jonestown.
Yeah.
So it was a remote settlement where it ended in Guinea. And it actually was a San Francisco-based cult. It's not Guyana, it's Guinea.
Okay, alright.
Well,
Just move on.
Right, alright, fuck you.
I don't trust
I'm
your
saying
English.
Guinea, because I'm pretty sure that's correct. Right. So, it was actually formed in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yes.
Right, there we go. That's a
In
state.
Indiana. In 1955.
Also, not long after Hitler.
No, yeah. Well, yeah, actually, funny thing is, when Jim Jones was a kid,
Oh, God.
when they all learned about, you know, the stuff Hitler did, he was impressed
Don't
by
say-
Hitler.
Oh, God.
He was impressed. So I guess, you know, and that's when he was a kid. So that's going to
advice.
tell you what's going to happen in the future there.
Oh.
Little Hitler wannabe, some shit. Quite literally, yeah.
Baby Adolf.
Baby Adolf, yeah. So,
American Adolf. Oh.
literally. So, yeah, like I said, it had Christian views.
Okay.
The temple preached, at the beginning anyway. My tea! They did not preach my tea, I want to comment.
I'm just getting comfy, man. Don't listen to all this cult stuff.
Yeah, but you almost took up my tea in the
Oh,
way.
grow up. It's fine. Tell me about the cult. Speak to me.
So, they preached, not my tea,
Oh,
but
move on.
they preached those that remain drugged with the opioid of religion have to be brought to enlightenment. We don't have time to unpack all that. We're not gonna.
You know, like the brains and the clogs in your brain working, and they kind of just grind to a halt.
Yeah.
It's like my brain started spooling for a minute there. I just got
Yeah.
hooked on that one sentence. The opioid of religion.
Yeah, literally. Like, they even say drugged with the opioid of religion. So it's almost like they're self-aware that they are, in fact, a cult.
But they sound like they're an anti-religion cult.
The thing is, they weren't really big in religion. Like, they believed in God and shit, but like I said, it was more Christian, but they are a lot more political. So,
Wild.
We'll get into it. Specifically towards socialism.
They're anti-socialist?
No, pro.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not in a good way.
Oh.
So.
Oh, wow.
After being, a group for a while, cult, the temple moved to Redwood Valley in California in 1965.
After being a group for a while, the temple moved house.
They did. They moved house a lot. So that's all I'm going to say there.
Probably because they were killing people along the way.
They were not. I want to comment. They were not.
Aww.
They were just herding more people, probably. So yeah, so 10 years after it founded, they moved to California. In the early 70s, the temple then opened another branch. It's almost like a business.
Oh, well, yeah, all cults
Yeah,
are, man.
well,
They're money
yeah.
provisions, aren't they?
They opened another branch in Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Oh.
And eventually their headquarters then moved to San Francisco as well.
So we're really hitting up the West Coast here.
Yeah. Jim Jones was sort of like a little, celebrity in the 60s and 70s. He really was. He was hanging out. He was hanging out with all the politicians at the time. They all loved him. And, you want to put that charismatic leader on there, so...
How embarrassing must that have been for the politicians when they found out?
Plot twist. The worst mass killing of cults in history. There you go.
He's a frequent dinner guest of most of the California...
Oh, not even just California, just American politicians.
Lol.
Fucking loved him. Jones, he loved the spotlight, obviously.
Egotistical son of a bitch.
Literally. He enjoyed public support, and like I said, he was highly valued among the highest levels of politicians in the United States.
Oh, what the chances he was involved in the Senate?
Probably quite high, actually.
I bet he went to the White House at some point, didn't he?
Oh, 100%, I guarantee it. So they then moved, and I'm gonna keep saying it because I swear to God I'm correct. Guinea, right? Yeah, because then it's like Papua New Guinea. New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
Right, fuck you. It's New Guinea now. It's the temptation to put this into.
Do you want to get some false? So just to let you know, we paused you for a second there, but what we were discovering there is I was in fact correct.
Are you ready?
And Beth was in fact incorrect.
Are you ready?
Just the evidence from Google here.
Guyana.
Guyana.
When you try your
Guyana.
best and you don't succeed.
What was it you said?
Nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Guyana?
No. That's Guinea.
Guinea.
Yeah.
It's not Guinea, guys. It is Guyana.
Right. Well, that place.
Well, you know
Guyana.
what? I can't be the only one learning shit, so
Yeah, that's fair.
Beth can learn how to
It's
speak
gotta be a
words
two-part.
properly.
Anyway, so
In Guyana.
they then went to Guyana
Hey!
to begin their agricultural mission.
Agricultural... How spicy?
Mission.
Mission. 'Cause that
Wow.
doesn't sound culty at all.
No. So basically, they were beginning their commune. So Guinea. Said it again. Right. No, I can't call it a G word. I need to say it, man.
Guyana.
Right.
You just say
Okay.
Guyana.
I need.
It's
okay.
how it's written.
Okay. All right. Let me speak. Right. So
It's not going to be a short episode.
it's not. Guyana was to be their commune.
Okay.
It's where they would settle for the last time.
Their base of operations,
Yes.
basically.
The country had similar political beliefs, so it worked well for the cult
Okay.
and for Jones. And actually, in the end, Jonestown got approved to have 3,800 acres of land in the jungle.
Right.
For free.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places to bury
Very.
bodies. There we go.
However, the site was quite isolated. It had very, very low fertility, so they couldn't really grow
Anything on it.
anything. Yeah.
It was a bit of a shitty parcel of land then.
And the nearest body of water was fucking 7 miles away.
Okay, so that's the shittiest parcel of land you ever got.
They're just like, oh yeah, no, we believe the same. We definitely like you. Here's the shittiest place in our country.
Here's the most desolate location we could possibly bequeath to you.
Have this.
Have fun.
We don't actually want it.
Good luck.
Yeah, it was not great. So
that's kind of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. So Jonestown in Guyana. I had to think about how to say it then.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That sounded almost intentional.
Thank you. So 500 members first came.
500!
500. I also want to comment, Becky.
Oh god, here we go.
That most cults that you'll find, that we might go into on other episodes, will only have about 10 to 50 people. Do you know how many Jonestown had?
I'm gonna go 800.
About 980.
Ugh!
Do you want to know how many people before we get into it died?
I'm gonna go 250.
908 people. Actually, 918 people, maybe.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Did you say 980 people?
918.
No, 80 people in total in the whole cult.
Roughly.
So you're telling me that there was around 60 survivors in nearly 1,000 people? Don't try to do maths, just agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, and obviously I'm going to explain how some of them survived and that kind of shit. But
hiding, probably.
At the end. But, yeah. The biggest mass murder in cults in the history of the world. All led by one man.
I'm baffled.
Yeah.
I'm baffled. I'm astounded. Please continue. I want to know how this happened.
So, 500 members of the cult come to Guyana to begin the construction of what would be Jonestown on this land.
Okay.
The temple encouraged more people than as it was being built to relocate to Guyana
and to join them.
Yeah, and Jones saw Jonestown. That's a stupid sentence. Jones saw Jonestown, his own place, as he quoted as both a socialist paradise and a sanctuary. From the media scrutiny, though. So
all the media, I mean, to be fair, it probably was all the media's fault.
He was very paranoid about media. He always thought they were against him. He always was paranoid that the CIA specifically was trying to, end him or end whatever he was doing, or that they were involved somehow.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you.
It's just, he was,
I am in complete agreement with him. The CIA probably was trying to do him in, and the media probably did hate him.
But the thing is, from everything I've ever read, the people actually loved him. Even the majority of the people in the cult.
Baffled.
And, I don't think anyone actually saw this coming. Especially not until it was too late, anyway.
Him turning psycho.
Yeah, especially the murdering of 918 people.
Oh, we'll save that for the end.
Yeah. So...
explain to me.
It was known pretty quickly, when the people moved to Jonestown, that Jones did not permit members to leave Jonestown at all without his permission.
So once you were in, you went out.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a branding? A lot of cults brand people. Or give them tattoos.
I don't think so. No. So we're now in the summer of 1977. So when you think about it, not actually that long ago. There's, was your mum was born alive then, wasn't she?
When?
1977. Because my mum was born 1980.
Yeah, honey.
Yeah. So it's not actually that long ago.
1977. My mum would have been 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Even my dad was alive at that point. He would have been like 4, 5.
Like, I won't even be surprised if their parents, like, saw it on the news. So, it wasn't long ago at all. So, summer of 1977, Jones and several hundred Temple members all then moved to Jonestown.
Ugh.
So, actually, before 1977, before the summer of it, he wasn't actually living there himself.
He just sent people to build it.
Yeah, he had, you know, 500 to 700 people living there. And then you know, he got like the last amount of people that were part of the group, and then he went with them. Yeah. And then obviously locked it down with him in it as well. Apparently there was some building pressure with the media in San Francisco, and that was the other reason as to why they were planning to move indefinitely to Guyana. Good to know. So Jones left the same night that apparently a New West magazine editor read him an article to be published detailing allegations of abuse from former Temple members.
Former Temple members? Oh, yeah. So some people actually
managed to get out. Yeah, not many. So after the mass migration, Jonestown obviously quickly became overcrowded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonestown population was slightly under 900 at his peak in 1978, but he had other members of the cult in different other locations, so that's why...
Oh, okay. So that was the main area, but there were other branches.
Yeah. Like, there's some people that would be in Guyana. Some people might be, like, spreading the message, for example.
Oh, let's not spread that message.
No. So, many members of the temple believed that Guyana would be, as Jones promised, a paradise or utopia.
I'm gonna guess it was the opposite of utopia.
Considering most of them are now dead, yes, probably.
Yes, thank you for that.
So, after Jones actually came to live in Jonestown...
Guessing things took a downhill turn.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Jonestown life significantly changed. So, sometimes they would watch entertaining movies that, you know, the settlers would watch. That was cancelled and not allowed anymore. They were not allowed to watch any kind of entertaining movies. They were then shown movies about Soviet propaganda or documentaries about American social problems. Fair enough.
You know, educate yourself. Yeah, but this is a bit weird.
Yeah. The buildings fell into disrepair. Weeds were just covering the fields, obviously because they couldn't grow anything on it. School study and nighttime lectures for adults were replaced with Jones's discussions about revolution and his enemies.
Almost sounds like he's building an army.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like he's educating his own little private guerrilla army.
And then he also gave them lessons focusing on Soviet alliances. How interesting.
There is a lovely communist focus here.
Yeah, it's very much, that's the, like, main thing of the cult.
So he idolizes Hitler.
Yeah.
And loves the Soviets.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Are we sure this guy was actually... Well, yeah, he's definitely American.
Yeah. So, for the first several months, Temple members worked 6 days a week from 6:30 in the morning till 6 at night.
That's a long day.
And they only would get an hour lunch. After the day's work ended, you would think they would have some time to themselves.
No. I'm guessing this is when the lectures and discussions took place.
Yeah, correct. Temple members would then attend several hours of activities in the pavilion, which was like the main gathering area in Jonestown, including classes and socialism, obviously.
This reminds me of a geology trip I took for a week, where I was out walking for geology and looking at structures and stuff from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then I had a dinner and then a 3.5 hour lecture afterwards.
I just would not.
And we did that for 7 days straight, just looped, and it was exhausting. I'm pretty sure my mother had to let me sleep for like 36 hours when I got back, and I only did that for a week. So I can't imagine how tired these people must be.
Yeah. So because it stood on such poor soil, Jonestown wasn't self-sufficient at all because they couldn't grow anything because it was such poor land. So they actually had to import a lot of stuff.
Expensive.
Well, he had plenty of money, so that was
That's
never
true.
an issue.
Just because they have lots of money doesn't mean they want to spend lots of money.
No, and he didn't really. Yeah, so they had to import large quantities of some commodities such as wheat and that kind of thing. Temple members lived in very, very small communal houses, which were overcrowded.
Oh, yay.
And some of the houses, the walls were actually just like big leaves. There wasn't actually walls.
Here, have a leaf.
As a house.
As a house. Have a leaf.
And yeah, they ate meals that reportedly only consisted of nothing more than some days having a little bit of rice, beans, greens, and very occasionally meat, sauce, and eggs.
Meat sauce?
Meat, sauce, and eggs.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Meat sauce. You don't even get the meat.
They were living like this, even though he had an estimated $26 million stored up. But Jones also actually lived in a small communal house, except obviously fewer people lived there.
Probably on his inner circle.
And obviously he got more choice of food and drink and that kind of thing.
So right to be on top, innit?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. You wanna be on top?
Stop.
Sorry. Medical problems such as severe diarrhea and high fevers struck half the community in February 1978. Just thought you need to know that. Let's just say in this place, because they didn't have much, it was shitty quality.
And
obviously, health was just a big problem there.
Well, it's often it's frequently an issue of large communal housing with poor sanitary conditions and poor food.
Yeah.
It spreads illness like a fucking rash.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the plague?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember that? The plague?
It would not be diseases that kill any of these people, unfortunately.
What?
Jonestown also had no prison, obviously, and they also did no form of like capital punishment, but they did have things to like replace that.
Oh god.
Yeah. So various forms of punishment were used against members that were considered to have done something like seriously disciplinary sort of thing.
Some infraction of some imaginary law that he had in his psychopathic head.
You take an hour and 3-minute break, you're fucked. You've broken all sacred laws. It's over.
Honey, you'd be dead.
Yeah, I would. No, I have a half an hour break and I'm on good beans, so I wouldn't. So their methods included imprisonment in a 6x4 by 3 foot plywood box.
What's a hot box?
So I don't know how big that is, but I'm going to assume not very big.
Let me put it like this. You're going to be lucky if you get your elbows out, let alone your hands. Like, bruh. You're going to be lucky if you can chicken win it in that box. They used to use it as a form of punishment in Texas prisons. They built like small little isolation steel boxes, and then they'd put you in them. For isolation. And obviously you'd hallucinate and have like dehydration and stuff like that.
Like Prison Break.
Yeah, but actually a thing instead of just being on a TV show.
So they would also, if the children did something bad.
Oh god.
Because it said there was about 300 to 400 children.
I was going to say, like, they're all procreating, aren't they?
Actually, sex is a very complicated thing. He doesn't really allow it in Jonestown.
How exactly is he going to police sex?
Well, yeah, exactly.
You got to watch these motherfuckers every hour of the day?
But, well, he did have, like...
Pee Patrol!
The funny thing is, like, they don't have, like, food and shit, but he has enough to, like, put cameras up everywhere and that kind of shit. Recording devices. Don't question it.
Did you see me questioning it? I'm drinking my juice here.
Children were forced to spend the night at the bottom of a well, sometimes upside down at the bottom of the well. For some members who tried to escape, they would be drugged with things like thorazine, sodium pentothal, definitely said that wrong, chlorophyll hydrate or Valium.
Actually, no, it's sodium pentothal. You're correct.
Oh, wow. And they were drugged in what was called an extended care unit. And armed guards patrolled the area, the border of Jonestown, making sure no one could escape or come in day and night. So
awesome.
Yeah. Children were generally surrendered to communal care. Because obviously he stopped the school and then replaced it with the speeches. And at times they were only allowed to see their biological parents briefly at night. They were to call Jones father or dad. By both adults and children, though.
That's horrific.
Bit weird. 33 kids were born in Jonestown.
Those poor bastards.
Even though they weren't actually allowed to have sex.
I was going to say, clearly that rule wasn't one followed.
And actually, interesting fact, really random, 45% of members were actually black women. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
The data one could extrapolate from that sentence. I'm not going to. Let's move on, but woof.
Jones made frequent addresses to temple members regarding the safety of Jonestown. Including statements against Sisolak's paranoia that the CIA and other intelligence agencies were conspiring with capitalist pigs to destroy their settlement and to harm the people in it. Jones regularly studied the ways of Adolf Hitler.
Was this guy like schizophrenic?
I don't fucking know.
He got some kind of mental disorder.
But he also studied Adolf Hitler to learn how to control people.
I mean, he was very good at that.
Them. Yeah. So, on what was called a white night, they would have it on rare occasions. So basically, a white night is basically when he'd be like, right, I'm paranoid about the CIA, so we need to come up with a plan of what we'll do if they came in to attack us. Right. And they were given 4 options, and the group had to vote on which one they would do. And the one that they ended up agreeing on was mass suicide. So, on the white night, this is not the actual thing.
Oh my god. I just heard the words mass suicide and my ass was like, the fuck?
So, on this white night, when they actually called it a revolutionary suicide, they actually would rehearse committing suicide. They would all be given drinks, they would all down them, and then they'd be fine. Yeah. So they were really
just for those who can't see my face and obviously can only hear my voice, I am looking at Beth with just appalled horror.
So obviously,
is this the kids as well?
Yeah. And the mother would do it to the kids as well. So obviously, because like we said, health was a problem in Jonestown.
Sweet Jesus.
Jones's own health issues obviously worsened while he was in Jonestown.
Excellent. So not excellent actually. I imagine I can see where this is going now.
Surprisingly not. It wasn't this bit that like pushed him over the edge. So in 1978, Jones was informed that he might have a possible lung infection. However, he announced to his followers that he actually had lung cancer. To obviously foster sympathy and then strengthen support in the community.
By fake cancering somebody?
Yeah, literally. So Jones was also abusing injectable Valium, stimulants and barbiturates as well.
This guy's a cracker.
He's just a different kind of person.
Oh, wow.
So.
Oh, Jesus.
This is when we start going really downhill. This is the tipping
This is
point.
like the first little like gradual
of the
drop.
roller coaster, yeah.
And then this is where it starts going really to
Because the thing is, it goes from 0 to almost 100 here. You see the build up. And the thing is, the scariest thing is, there is video footage of this all happening from it going from 0 to 100, where you can see what happened, the bodies, where you can see people get hurt.
Oh my god.
Where you can see people coming up to people that come and visit the town and ask them to help them escape. There is audio footages of everything from his speeches to that final night.
Oh my god.
That
Tell
you
me.
can just see.
Tell me.
So,
I'm curious now. You've got me hooked.
there was a man called Leo Ryan. Rip this man. BTW.
Rip Leo. Is he a good bean?
He sounded like a good bean.
Okay, Rip Leo.
So he actually represented California's 11th congressional district, and he announced he intended to visit Jonestown. So Ryan was actually friends with the father of Bob Houston, who was a temple member in California, whose mutilated body was found near train tracks on the 5th of October 1976, 3 days after a taped telephone conversation with Houston's ex-wife when he discussed leaving the temple.
And then his mutilated body turns up 3 days later and no one thought this was sus?
Yeah. So
clearly he wasn't going there with good intentions.
Yeah. So Ryan, this important political man, was friends with the dad of this person. Yeah. So he's like, fuck it. That sounds dodgy as shit. We're going.
Logical.
Yeah.
Probably should have some protection though.
Oh, yeah. So only Ryan and 3 others were actually given permission to enter Jonestown.
Awesome.
The rest of Ryan's group that came with him on a plane were not allowed in until sunset for some reason. So
probably so everybody was out of the way.
This is, while they're in Jonestown now. Sorry, tea sip.
I finished my tea. It's very sad.
Yeah. So, when they were in there that night, they attended a musical reception in the pavilion. And the party was great. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was warm. A good mood. Jones said that for some reason he felt like a dying man. He just sort of interrupted the party just to say this. And ranted about the government conspiracies like normal and martyrdom as normal.
This guy's unstable.
That was really random, but yeah, it sounded like a good night. So, it was later reported and verified from audio tapes that were discovered that Jones had actually run rehearsals on this party. Yeah, to convince Ryan's group that everything was fine. Everything's fine. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
So, within this party, 2 members of the cult slid the visitors a note. Yeah. This is not gonna go well.
This is gonna go badly.
A note saying, word for word, "Dear Congressman Vernon Gosney and Monica Bagby, please help us get out of Jonestown." A child nearby, fuck this child by the way, a child nearby witnessed this exchange and verbally alerted the other temple members. Fuck the kid. Bitch.
Wow.
So this is where we're starting to tip down the roller coaster.
So now. I'm sorry, they managed to get past how many other temple members to get to this person to slide a note, and then they were done in by a kid. Oh, rip these 2, they're dead.
So while they'd had this night, everything was fine. But they'd seen this note and they were like, oh shit, some people are clearly being held here.
Please, somebody are not here voluntarily.
We'll bring more people with us back. Okay, so they began to, most of Ryan's group began to depart back to the airport on a large truck.
Okay.
Ryan and his friend stayed behind in Jonestown.
Oh, no.
The group that was in the truck would then be attacked by a temple member with a knife. Luckily, I'm pretty sure everyone survived. He was wrestled.
What the hell?
The group had actually scheduled a 19-passenger plane because their group was quite a big one.
Yeah.
from Guyana to flying back. However, they'd managed to sneak a few
Temple members.
Yeah.
Nice.
Out of the cult with them. So there was now more people that needed to leave,
Mm-hmm.
and only so many seats on the plane. So they'd actually ordered a second plane to come.
Yeah.
And this one was a 6-passenger, but fit all the people. No one you know what? I'm gonna wait.
Oh god.
So there's a man named Leighton.
Okay.
He was a cult member.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a passenger on the first plane.
Okay.
So there, a bunch of them are there waiting to get on this first plane.
Oh god.
As the plane came on the landing, he produced a handgun.
Oh god.
And started shooting at the passengers. He wounded 2 people. Tried to kill another one. But luckily the gun misfired and he was disarmed.
Excellent.
The tractor that was coming with more people to go on the planes, of people wanting to escape, neared the aircraft by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then some more shooting happened. His, Jonestown security came out with shotguns and handguns and rifles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some spice there from our militaristic boys.
And then there was at least 2 members who went around the plane on foot with guns as well. So we had a few shooting from a distance, 2 shooting up close.
Okay.
Ryan, unfortunately, was killed after being shot more than 20 times. Only literally 2 people survived and managed to get on the plane and get out. The second plane was too damaged to go. And everyone else, obviously, that were in that area died.
When you manage to shoot the fuck out of a plane so much it can't actually fly.
Yeah. So, the thing is, Jim then knew, good old Jim, he knew
there was some spicy shit
2
going
people had managed to escape.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew it was going to be a shitstorm because they would bring people back.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew Jonestown.
This was the beginning of the end.
This is it. Yeah. This is what they've been preparing for.
Oh god.
So, he was quoted to say, "I have failed and all is lost." Members prepared a large metal tub with grape-flavoured Kool-Aid, poisoned with cyanide, Valium, and other poisons.
Wow.
After
That's
30
a whole
minutes,
fucking cocktail.
It is, yeah. Just to ensure death.
That's a lovely punch mix right there.
After 30 minutes, Jones called everyone to the pavilion.
Oh, yay.
A 44-minute cassette tape was found in Jonestown, which is known to this day as the death tape.
Oh, yeah, what a name.
Because his entire final speech was recorded, and so was the deaths of all the people on this tape.
Oh.
And it's free to view online. I've not attached it to this, so don't worry.
Please, God. Thank God. Whew.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's horrible. I
imagine listening to the death of over 900 people probably would be horrific.
Yeah, it is. So, it happened on November 18th, 1978. On the tape, like I said, you can hear a speech and people starting to die. So after Ryan's killed, the members came back. The ones that did all the shooting from the airport, they came back, confirmed that Ryan was dead. Armed guards were then told to take up positions around the pavilion. The first to take the poison, willingly, was a woman called Rouletta Paul and her 1-year-old infant. She used a syringe without a needle to squirt poison into her baby's mouth.
Oh my god.
And then she used it to squirt some into her mouth. A witness also said that he witnessed mothers with their babies actually be the first ones to approach the metal tub willingly.
The fuck?
Weirdly enough, yeah. Clayton, which is the witness, also said that Jones then started to approach people, encourage them to take the drink after that. However, around that time, that the people started to see that people were actually dying, and this wasn't like a white day.
So some of them thought it was a rehearsal.
Yeah. And so they actually saw the people dying, and they're like, oh shit. They were reluctant to die.
Fair.
Yeah. So that's when panic started rising.
It's all to say that, like, you rehearse a fake suicide.
And then actually doing it.
And then approaching a drink knowing it will kill you.
Yeah.
It's two entirely different war games.
So the poison caused death within 5 minutes for children, less for babies,
and
an estimated 20-30 minutes for adults. After consuming the poison, people were then escorted away, some of them anyway, down a wooden walkway just outside the pavilion, to die outside. A witness described a scene of hysteria and confusion as parents watched their children die from the poison, because obviously
they thought it was fake.
Yeah, and because it works quicker on children, they would see their child die, and then they would know that they're gonna die. The crowd, like I said, was surrounded by armed guards, who literally, when the crowd started panicking a bit,
shot them.
No, they were like, right, we can either kill you with our guns, or you're gonna take the fucking poison. Yeah. So people were being shot. People were dying from the poison. People were being forced to have the poison. They would inject people with the poison that weren't willing to drink it. Sometimes they would hold them down, put the drink down.
I'm gonna need Jesus after this podcast.
Yeah, I told you it's a grim one, this one.
This is your
Yeah, it's my favourite one.
On
the recording, also cries and screams from both the children and adults I heard on the tape.
Great.
As more of the temple members started to die, Jones was then like, guards, your turn as well. Come take a drink, come get a little sip. So the guards started to come as well. Jones, funnily enough, shot himself in the head in his office.
Nice.
He was too much of a pussy
to drink the poison.
Even though he had fucking been abusing drugs already.
I was gonna say, it's not exactly like it's an uncommon feeling for him.
He gave himself a quick, painless death.
Nice.
Where the other people that idolised him,
of course,
had to suffer for up to half an hour and feel it all die. Yeah.
Wow. What a charismatic leader.
What a coward, honestly. So, in terms of people that survived, not many obviously did.
Obviously, no.
918 people unfortunately died in Jonestown, from infants, from newborn babies to elderly people.
Wow.
Like I said, some were shot, some were poisoned, some took it voluntarily, some didn't. People that survived, some people, like I said earlier, had been out on missions.
Yeah.
So, those people survived because they weren't in Jonestown.
Yeah.
Some people that were in Jonestown, for example, there was a elderly deaf man who was quite late hearing the speech to go to the pavilion.
Yeah.
And he started, obviously, by the time he got there, he was seeing the dead bodies. So he actually cleverly pretended to have drank it and pretended to be dead.
Clever man.
Yeah. There was a woman who also hid under a bed.
Fair, that would be me.
Yeah. And actually managed to survive, even though a lot of the rooms and houses and stuff were checked and people were dragged out to, like, the pavilion. Yeah. But yeah, she survived. However, because they had other, like, people for example, that were like out on missions or like at different bases.
Mhm.
In one of the houses that some of the other members were in, when they heard about it, this woman, the mother, she escorted her children, Leanne, who was 21, Krista, who was 11, Martin, who was 10, into a bathroom. Wielding a kitchen knife, she killed Krista, the 11-year-old, then Martin, the 10-year-old. Then Leanne assisted Sharon in killing herself with a knife, and then Leanne killed herself with a knife. So even not being in Jonestown, cult members were still committing suicide. The bodies of over 400 people who died are actually now buried in a mass grave. The others were either cremated or the families wanted to have personal burials. And like I said, a quick note on his childhood. He was obsessed with the religion, obviously. He was obsessed with death, killing animals, and then even holding little funerals for them, which is obviously a big sign of a serial killer. And he apparently, he was sort of a loner and that kind of stuff. Jones actually, weirdly, also a random fact, he had a monkey in the camp as like a mascot that they'd had for a pet for many years, and unfortunately he was shot to death on the final day.
That poor fucking monkey.
I know. If you're willing, I have some photos.
Oh, God. How scarred am I going to be from this?
The thing is, you hear about the crime, and in your head you're like, oh, 918 people. It doesn't sound like a lot.
Are you going to show me... What are the pictures?
This is the one that made it to papers. There are just bodies and bodies and bodies piled on top of each other. That was the pavilion. All of these...
Tiny little specks of people.
Bodies. Yeah. Children, elderly people.
There's so many you can barely tell them apart. Is that him?
That's Jim Jones. He
Wow.
looks like a prick.
He looks like a paedophile.
He does. And then there's another one, unfortunately. When the cleanup, police, that kind of stuff had to go in. So that's where they made it all. And
That's just a man. There's just like hundreds.
It's just like you wouldn't even be able to walk in a straight line up there.
No.
There's just that many bodies. Yeah. So it's horrific to look at and be like, Christ.
That is
that's a lot of people.
That is incredible. In the worst kind of way.
Yeah.
I was correct. I do need Jesus after this one.
You do. Just be glad you haven't listened to the audios or the videos of people but like the day leading up to it happening.
Honey.
Because there is.
Honey. I would never, in God's green earth, consider stepping within a 5-mile radius of those recordings.
Oh.
Let me tell you that.
I would.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
honey. Because you have trauma, okay?
I have an interest.
You have trauma.
Also that, but I have an interest.
In a massacre!
Yeah, and cults.
Oh my
and true crime.
God, it's like people who take an interest in the Holocaust. No, really, it is.
True crime's more accepted.
The Holocaust is historical and
Yes,
educational.
Happened more recently. It's happened while your mum was alive when she was a kid. Her parents saw this picture on TV and in the newspapers.
I hate you just a little bit right now.
Yeah, it's alright. Well, I know it was a long one for us, but kind of makes up for the last one being so short.
I'm traumatized now.
That's how she should be at the end of these episodes.
This is worse than the Japan one.
This is worse than Junko.
God, so much worse.
What, do you think this is the worst one we've covered?
This is the worst one we've covered. Look, I've heard some horrific...
points for Jonestown.
I've heard some horrific ones, yeah, but this podcast has made me feel sick.
Understandable. The photos themselves are just horrendous.
Did you not notice how in the last 5-10 minutes of that, 15 actually, I was just kind of vacantly staring at you in shock?
That's a lot of people then.
Yeah, and I know!
Yeah.
I'm looking at the fucking picture if you don't scroll back up again.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my...
Just the deaths on screen. Sorry.
This big-ass picture of dead bodies all over a pavilion, and she's just casually got it up on the screen.
Right.
I'm like, put it away. You don't need to photograph things like that.
Well, they did, because it was one of the most... It's one of the worst global catastrophes.
Yeah, but that's dead people.
Yeah.
Have some respect. Don't plaster that all over the newspaper. That's disrespectful.
I didn't put it in the fucking
No,
newspaper.
I know, but that's disrespect. Why would you put that in a newspaper? Can you not have respect for those people in their lives, not to plaster their deceased corpses all over a...
Okay, deep breath. Deep breaths. So, delve in for the next episode with us, where we'll actually be talking about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Thank you! Finally, a socially acceptable podcast!
Also, one that my mother requested, so if I don't do it, I will die.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Janet always recommends the good ones.
She does. So join us next time, and that'll be episode 9, and then we will finally have episode 10, which will be a huge milestone for us. So
the first milestone?
Yeah. So keep in store for that.
We'll have to do a special one.
Yeah.
We'll need to get donuts. Celebratory
obviously,
donuts.
Obviously. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this episode, let us know. If you have recommendations, let us know. I hope I haven't scarred the rest of you that much. Maybe.
Please
Probably.
recommend something, because this is the stuff that Beth makes me listen to, and I'd really rather not.
She actually loved it,
Oh
so
my God.
shame. So you've been listening to BB True Crime. Thank you very much. This was Jonestown Massacre.
Traumatizing fucking content right here. This should have come with a trigger warning.
Maybe. Alright, night lads.